Howdy.
Hello.
And hopefully the horrible lawnmower, weed eater, whatever the hell is going on outside is not coming through the mic.
Yeah, I can't hear it, so I think you're okay. So
I mean, I like that we have a lawn guy who we pay to do the lawn and stuff, but
yeah, that's
what he hits all the houses around us at once. And
which
so
makes
it
sense.
takes,
I mean,
yeah, it just means it takes him all day to do, and it's just loud
oof.
right outside
That's money
window.
well spent. Mowing sucks.
God, it sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I probably need to contact him and ask him if he knows anybody who does pressure washing, because it's that time again for the house. So
Needs a bath.
needs a bath, needs the gutters cleaned, all
Jake
that
paid
stuff.
someone to mow his yard too. I mean, his yard's enormous. It's a farm.
Yeah.
And also plow his driveway. But he has a tractor for it, so
That's handy.
yeah, so they just come over and use his tractor, so it's good.
I just
But
don't like the heat.
yeah, he just doesn't like mowing, so
It's
not that
really tedious, and it's not really conducive to listening to podcasts and shit either, because it's so loud.
too loud. Yeah. I mean, it's really nice here. Like I wore a sweater on Saturday because it didn't even hit 70. Like it was 60 degrees, so like I was cold. Jake wore a hoodie.
Well,
So today is 80 and it's going to get hot. I mean, it's going to hit like 88 again. So like it's getting hot.
87 here. It hasn't been too bad this week, heat wise, because it's been a little rainy, and so we've got a hurricane, or right now it's a tropical storm, Francine, and all the stupid models are pointing our way right now, like direct path. So we'll see how that goes.
It's supposed to hit Nancy B, which she's desperate for rain. I hope it comes up here, the leftovers of it, because we need rain so bad.
Rain without the wind is good.
But it's not going to be that up here. It'll just be like a normal rainstorm. So.
Yeah. Well, I got I don't know how many of those backup battery pumps do I have now? Like, at least like 8, and they're double outlet. So
do you have a generator?
Nah, never needed one here. Honestly, we've never lost power for more than like a day.
I mean, the longest I've been without power would be a couple hours. Just not really an issue up here. I live by downtown, so like they have to keep the power grid pretty good because a lot of people would be without it. So
Nathan's offering his services for the lawn stuff. Just gotta get him a Greyhound ticket and feed him.
There you go. So Zenny says it is heading toward me. Yeah, so I saw the forecast is calling for like a 1/4 inch of rain. So I mean, that's not that much, but I mean, we'll take it. We'll take anything
That's
we can get.
better than 6 feet of flooding.
Yeah, I mean, I would like an inch of rain would be nice, maybe 2, but 1/4 inch will do. So
take whatever you can get.
Yeah, but I mean, this time of year is usually dry up here and pleasant, and it has been pleasant and dry. So
So, question: what do you do when your cannas get 9 feet tall and just like go?
Well, you need to fertilize them. Are you fertilizing them?
I did that once. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's not enough.
It's not like it's getting too tall, and it's the weight of it. The weight of the flower is like making the whole thing bend over. Is the problem?
There's a couple of issues. It's stretching for light because it's not getting like full sun.
So okay, so that's why it's getting so tall.
Yeah, and that's just what plants do when they're stretching for light. And also, it's weak because you don't fertilize it. I mean,
okay.
anything that's in a container has to be fertilized. That's just how plants are. I mean,
Hmm.
petunias and stuff, I fertilize them every week. So, I mean, they probably need a fertilizer tab every week or maybe every 2 weeks. You've done
I
it
just need to
once.
set a time. Well, okay, I've done it a few times. I had to order new fertilizer tabs, and then when I got them and they were all shiny and new, it's like, ooh, let me go fertilize, and I fertilized the
Yeah, because
lily and
like
stuff.
you should have nonstop flowers and they should be just bursting out of the container.
The lily, not so much, but the canna has been blooming since like spring. It's
But like
just
it
now,
should
but
be
it's
blooming way more than it does. Let's put it that way.
okay.
Yeah, and
So
it's just they anything that's in a container has to be fertilized. It doesn't matter what it is. You know, if you have a potted tomato plant, if you have petunias, if you have a potted pond plant, they have to be fertilized every week. So it's like
yeah,
aquarium plants, it's a closed system. Now, if you have things in the ground, it doesn't really matter as much because they have the whole of the.
they got the whole freaking earth. Well, so
Yeah,
I think what I'm gonna do is I'll put some root tabs in there, and I will definitely at the end of this season do a repotting because I didn't repot either one of them, and
yeah,
I didn't divide the lily as much as I should have.
yeah,
So I think
and
I'll do
that
full blown repotting,
and
dividing,
that
all that stuff.
does help. That does help because they do get root bound. Water lilies, pretty much. I mean, not every variety, like Helvula, which is a miniature. I had that one in the same pot for 2 years. It could have gone at least another year than that. The only reason I repotted it and divided it is because I wanted it in a different medium, and
Mm.
then I gave it away. But I'm not going to repot it next year. It's fine. However, everything has to be fertilized. Everything that's in a container, just like our aquarium plants, they have to be fertilized because it's a closed system. So,
Yeah, well, I'm just as
yeah.
bad about doing root tabs in the aquarium than but and at least in the aquarium, I can just do easy green squirts
Yeah, I mean, the
every
thing that
day.
helps me is I fertilize every Friday something. Like it's fertilizer Friday. I have everything that's, all my petunias and my pansies and my verbenas and my herb tower that gets fertilized every week. And then my lotuses and my water lilies and my cannas, I'll kind of do those every other week. It just depends. Like if it's in June or July, like I might do them every week just to keep them really going. But I am getting on the time of the year for my lotuses and water lilies where I think this week I'm going to stop fertilizing because my first frost is coming soon in about a month.
Man, that
So,
sucks.
and you want to quit fertilizing about a month before your first frost so they can go dormant. So for you, I don't know when that is. I mean, because you do get a frost, right? Like
Uh,
maybe.
yeah. Sometimes it comes in December, sometimes it comes in February or somewhere in between, and
Yeah. So I mean, things slow down though where you live though, because the days get shorter and it gets colder. So
yeah,
like
like
I don't think you
no,
need to fertilize in like January, let's put it that way.
I'm not sticking my hand in that water in
No,
January.
no, it's cold and miserable. So like I would quit fertilizing for you, I don't know, maybe Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
But
I could
you
see that.
quit fertilizing unfortunately in the spring, which was the
I
wrong
well,
time to quit.
I did it in the summer too. I did not do it regularly, and
Yeah.
for sure, like
Yeah, I
I
mean,
notice the blooming when I do fertilize, and then it's like, well, it looks great, and I'll just
makes a
leave it until it.
huge difference for everything. I mean, if you want to get like petunia plants that look like, at Disney World, how everything looks so nice, all the flowers,
Then
well,
I need a
they look good.
gardener.
Well, they look good for two reasons. One, they have everything on drip irrigation, and two, they have like a fertilizer line with a drip. So they get fertilized probably like 2 or maybe even like 2 or 3 times a week.
So automation. That's
Yeah.
good.
So, because then they can do liquid. Are you using the root tabs with your PFs? I don't know what that means. You are the one who
Pink
told me.
flamingos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I did put root tabs under the pink flamingos. You want to see how great they're doing? Ready?
Yeah, let's see.
You ready?
Ready.
Look at this
Ready.
one. Look
Ready.
at this shit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh. Well.
So sad. This is the plant farm one. This one was doing the best.
Yeah.
And then it was like, nah, not anymore. Done.
Yeah. I don't really add root tabs to my aquariums. I just liquid fertilize. And plants don't really care if it's liquid or root tab. I,
I mean, most of them can take
something,
nutrients through the
yeah,
leaves because the leaves are all like
yeah.
thin.
They
They
can
don't
do
have
a
the
foliar feeding.
cuticle on them.
I do liquid outside for my containers just because it's really easy. And I have like a sprayer that I can use and I just do it that way. But my ponds, I would do a liquid if I had a liquid that I could use economically, but I don't. Like Easy Green would cost a fortune, or Nylac G would cost a fortune. So I use root tabs for those. But yeah.
It's a new name. Travis
Hi,
Desatel.
Travis.
Finally spot one live.
Well, thanks for joining us. We're glad to have
Yeah.
you.
Welcome.
And we had a new
So
member join. I think
we did.
I saw like an hour ago. Was it
Oh.
Laura or Lauren or something like
Oh,
that?
was it Laura R?
Maybe. I think
Sweet.
so.
Thank you.
Welcome.
She was a
So,
member before, and I think she just re-upped. We sent out some member plants last week, like a dozen. So most people got their plants, but then for some reason the post office is like, screw you, Branton Lightcap. And I don't know if he's gotten them yet, but
oh no.
they were delayed, but I can send some more if they don't do well. So yeah, so this one I'm just gonna leave it, but I don't expect it to come back. So
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while. Well, let's come back. That one came back.
yeah, this is the low tech, like there's no CO2 injection. This is just the 15-gallon tank that's got the co-op light on it. Hasn't done much other than like I guess some snails eating some dead areas of the leaves.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And
I
the one
mean,
under the Chihiros, the CO2 injected, that one just disappeared and hasn't come back.
I've just never seen a rhyme or reason to growing that plant. I mean,
No.
I had a patch of them that was really doing really well and it was multiplying, and then I moved it.
And that's what's going to happen with me is I'm inadvertently going to disturb the roots
I
somehow because
know.
I move all the other plants around it, and that's what's going to do it in permanently. And then this one is in the living room. And well, it's a shitty picture, but it's doing okay as well.
What are you saying, Dee Dee?
What?
Dee Dee says that's what Kelly would call them, but I keep them because they suck up stuff. But I hide them because she's right.
What?
What are we
Oh
talking
no.
about, Dee
Working with shitty Java ferns.
Oh yeah, shitty Java ferns. So Java ferns really like CO2. They
Yeah.
don't do jack shit without CO2. If you give them CO2, just fertilize them a lot. There is this notion that they need lots of extra potassium. Maybe, maybe not. They just are heavy feeders because they grow fast with CO2. If your Java ferns look like crap and you don't use CO2, I can't really help you because they just never look good without it. I mean, they don't necessarily die, but if you want your Java
No,
ferns to look
they
like
get the brown leaves around the edges and the tips of them, and they just kind of look scraggly. And try to diagnose like what's the nutrient deficiency. Well, the nutrient deficiency is carbon.
Yeah. So see that Java fern clump there?
Hang on, let
That's
me
behind all those rainbows. Oh, they're so pretty. That is what Java ferns should look like. Thick, lush, and
nice.
that's just CO2. And they, they do need a lot of fertilization, but you don't need to be like, oh, I need to add extra potassium or blah blah blah. Just fertilize regularly. Give them CO2.
This is new plant. This is a Ludwigia chlorophyll hater edition. It's like the. I mean, it's yeah. The new growth is new and
is that in your
okay.
Is that in your what's it called? Your low KH bowl or
Nope. It's in the living room and it will either live or die. There is new growth on it. It's kind of sad, but yeah. I was ordering some other stuff that I knew would work, and I was like, let me just add this to the cart too, because I like to.
You like more stems.
I like to torture myself with things. Sometimes,
Yeah.
A little masochistic. What's this one? Oh, yeah, I'm drawing a blank because we're live and we're streaming.
That's how that goes.
This is a sword, and it's the purple one. And
a Conodorus of Flame.
Yes, there it is.
I have that one, and it is very, very slow growing, but it needs a lot of light and it needs CO2.
Cool. It got a tissue culture, and so I have it.
It doesn't get.
I have it distributed in multiple tanks.
It's about that tall. It has not done well in my 90 because I don't think it's getting enough light because it's a deep tank, but it is doing well in my my 40. Very slow growing. And I think it really does need CO2, and it would probably be a lot happier with low pH water, but I don't have that.
Yeah.
And he says, oh, I know, plants that trigger Kelly theme.
Well, I also got that Win TI orange variety tissue culture.
Oh,
Tim got some too, except me and Tim, I think, ordered it on the same day, and our tissue cultures arrived the same day, but he got like 3 tissue cultures. So I think that was probably like 15 plants of it.
Oh,
I just got one, and there were like 5 crypts in there, and I dispersed them in different tanks, and 2 of them are visible. The other I can't find anymore. I don't even know what's going on with them, but we'll see.
I'll be interested in seeing what that looks like. Oh, Geek Boy says Tim got what kind of Rotala? Good old Rotala Tim.
I got some Rotala orange juice because I just wanted something that looked a little bit different.
That's an easy grower. I'm not getting any plants until the Clash because,
that I
there.
Yeah, I don't even know if the Wet My Plants vendor is going to be there because that was a great vendor. My favorite plant vendor there.
They had a lot of cool stuff. So I'm not going to buy anything until then because the Clash is soon.
Man,
is it like 3 weeks?
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, like 3.5 weeks. We will be there. Jenna is in like super stress work mode right now. And good. She said I Wet My Plants will be there. As well as Cochine Aquaculture.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So we'll see if they have anything good. And
yeah, well, I'm bringing a crap ton of plants to sell at the Fishfam Link booth.
Nice.
To raise money for Fishfam Link. And so I'll have a lot of room in my suitcase on the way back.
Well, maybe I should throw some stuff into that.
That would be fantastic. Anybody who wants to support Fishfam Link and sell some stuff they want to get rid of, we're going to have at least 3 tables. Like it's going to be a pretty big booth.
Cool. Because I don't really care to sell plants for me because I, don't want to provide any customer service, but I would donate them.
Hell no.
Yeah, I guess, I would also give plants away to people who needed them. I don't know. It depends on if I get my ass together before we leave. That's always it's never a given.
Mm-hmm.
So But I am very excited to go. I'm very excited to see everyone. And, it's not that I didn't have fun last time because I totally did, but this time I can be more relaxed and hang out more.
You don't have
Whereas,
to be in professional speaker mode.
yeah, because, like, and I love speaking, it's a lot of fun. But, like, then after every talk, everyone wants to talk to you and meet you and pick your brain, which I also enjoy. But, then it does wear you out at this certain point.
Yeah, I get that.
It's just
I
just work.
usually I don't go to these events in creator mode, which when I'm being asked to like film stuff is a bad thing. So then I forget. Like I will
Yeah,
go film 2 vendor booths and then I'll get distracted because someone will talk to me and be like, "Oh, good, I'm turning this camera off and out of creator mode."
yeah. I'm just going in friend mode. I just want to see people and
Yeah.
hang out with them, and that's it. I mean, I'll go to a few talks. I'll definitely see at least one of Rebecca's talks and one of Grant's, and but beyond that, I'm just going to hang out with people. So I'm not entering anything, or yeah. Oh, Whip says 14 months of generosity. Y'all are the best. Well, Whip,
Thanks, Web.
you're pretty great too, Whip. We're
Whip
glad
is
to have
awesome.
you.
I hope he can make it.
I hope so too. I want to see you again, Whip. I want to hug the tallest man in Fishfam.
That's out. Wait, is Alashon taller than Whip?
Oh, I think Whip is taller.
Hmm.
Chat, what do you say? Who's taller? I think Whip is
Who's taller? Well, also Ryan from Wild Fish Tanks is going to be there too, and he's taller than all the
taller.
people in all the land.
I don't know Ryan.
You'll know him when you see him.
I'll know him because he's super tall. Am I the tallest woman in Fishfam? There's got to be someone taller than me. I'm not
I don't
freakishly
know.
tall. I'm 5'10". I'm not
Yeah.
absurdly tall. There's got to be someone taller.
Austin, thanks for becoming a member.
Hello.
Or welcome back to membership. I can't tell on the StreamYard side. It just shows generic icon, but yeah. Whip said,
Wow.
so Mexicali said Ryan is 6'8". I knew he was really, really tall. I just didn't know exactly.
So tall. It's not often, Steven, that you feel short next to someone.
No, it's not often.
Yeah.
Just a
Wow.
select few people at the Clash.
Speaking of Jorge, he helped me and Mike, all things fish, who is not here. Guess work
Mm,
is not going well. But
mm.
tracked down Melanitinia's Sinner Ghost, which is a
Ooh,
rainbow that I have been looking for a long time. And someone in Arizona has them. Mike found them, but I wanted to make sure that I could trust them because I always feel nervous about buying fish from a source I don't know. Yeah, I've
that's
been looking
pretty.
for them. God, they're so beautiful. They just, oh, yeah.
Batanta Island rainbow fish.
Yeah, and for some reason they've gotten kind of rare in the United States, but these fish go through boom and bust cycles where like everybody wants one and then everybody buys them and then everybody breeds them and then everybody already has them and nobody wants them and so people get rid of them but it's
Yeah,
important that people keep them going because a lot of them are extinct in the wild. So,
I didn't realize Austin was so tall. I've never met him in person.
how tall are you, Austin?
Said 6'4".
Holy crap, you are tall. Wow.
Yeah.
We've got a
Well,
lot of tall guys in the fish fam.
the problem with
And
rainbow fish
Scotty.
is they lived.
Well, other
Uh,
Scotty is pretty tall. Scotty Aquati is pretty tall.
indeed,
I know.
rainbow fish live too long, and they
Really
require
long time.
big tanks, relatively big
Ew.
tanks. So it's like you get your rainbow fish tank stocked, and then you're good for a while unless you want to start
Yeah.
expanding.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I don't really want to buy non-rainbow fish because I just don't want to waste the space on them.
Right. I
Yeah.
mean, rainbow fish are $20 a piece ish if you get one, like $20 to $30, or except the pygmy ones are 50, and I'm still on the fence about that. But you get your money's worth, I think.
Yeah, totally. And they get better as they get older. And if you want to breed, they will keep spawning their entire lives. They're easy to spawn. They're just a pain in the ass to raise up. You know, it's like a year of feeding BB brine shrimp. That's a lot.
You know what
So,
I've noticed with the Picta specifically? So when when the Kalitawa spawn, it's because I just did a water change and they like
yeah, they
go
do like that.
absolutely nuts. The Kalitawa, I mean the Picta, whenever I'm like 3 or 4 days late on doing a water change is when they start flashing their colors. And I'm like, don't teach me that lesson.
Oh, so Jenna says that Annette is somewhere between 5'8" and 10. I think I think Annette and I are the same height.
Yeah, that
Maybe I'm
seems
a
right.
hair taller, but we're about the same. I don't think anyone towers over me for women. So
No, I mean, I didn't notice any particularly tall women, but then like, would I notice a tallish woman or not? Or would they have to be taller than me for me to like?
yeah. It's so funny. Like I'll ask Jake how tall a guy is. He's like, I don't know, he's pretty tall. I'm like, so he's taller than me? I'm like, well, I don't know. Like everyone's taller than Jake. He's not tall.
Jake is average height, right?
He's 5'8".
Maybe,
He's 5'8".
yeah. I think that's
Not.
actually still taller than average.
I mean, I'm taller than him by a good amount, but yeah.
Mrs. Whip is freakishly 5'2".
Oh, Mrs. Whip is very small. Very small.
So Nathan says, I've been slowly cutting down CO2. Why would you do something like that?
Why would you
In
do
the
that?
past 2 weeks, it runs for 3 hours only. Is it okay to cut it 100% now?
I
Yeah,
guess.
cut the
You just
CO.
turn it off, I guess.
Are
If your goal is,
you
I
maybe
mean, I
he's
don't know.
transitioning to like the full, because I know he has that the CO2 the CO2 maker, the producer,
I mean,
reactor
I would
thingy
say that if your
generator.
goal is to run a tank without CO2 and previously you've run it at CO2 with CO2, just turn it off. Like you don't need to wean off of it. Just
I like to do the
stop.
weaning off of it. I just feel like if I cut it, it's just going to be like, all right, it's algae time. So I do like the slow, maybe like 2 weeks of weaning off, and then
Mhm.
cut the light down too. But I mean, hopefully he's cutting it off so that he can start it up with like the 5 pound or so and compressed cylinder with
Yeah.
a
I mean, I don't know, because like for my tanks, like I've had a few times where like I've run out of CO2. I'm just checking right now to make sure the CO2 is indeed running. It is. And I haven't noticed for a couple weeks. And things are fine. They just lose their luster. Like my reds aren't as red. And no, just things are not quite as good. But then the CO2, I get it back and it gets better. But I don't have any major tragedies. Like I don't have major algae breakouts or anything. So I think if you want to end it, you could just end it. So Nathan says the tank is crap. I want to redo it and possibly moving it to another tank. Then just shut it off. I mean, if you're gonna redo it
yeah,
anyways and it's crappy anyways, who cares? Like just turn
right,
it
yeah. If you're
off.
redoing it, might as
Yeah,
well.
it doesn't matter. It's fine. You know, and if you have an algae breakout in a tank that you're gonna redo, like the fish don't care. Like they'll be okay. So more conversation about heights. Zenny says she's a little under 5'8", but will we ever know if she's telling the truth? I
I
mean,
hope so. I hope we'll find that out in 3.5 weeks ish.
I hope so. So there's a chance she could go to the Clash.
Yep. And like I said on Friday, if you are on the fence about going to the Clash, it is still not too late.
It is not
Not
too
too late.
late. And if you need a ride from the airport, that can happen. Like Zenny, if you fly, Jake and I will pick you up ourselves. Like we will drive there
Nice.
For other people, I don't know about it. But for
There will be
you,
somebody. There will be if
you
like
go.
your ride from the airport is the barrier, that's not a barrier. So we will get that arranged
That's
for
right.
sure.
So no barriers. You just need to get an Uber to the Houston airport. That's all you need to do. Get on a plane.
Now, I don't know if I can help out Matt with his request though. He said, if I come, can I share a room with Annette? Geek Boy says you have my permission.
I think Annette's already sharing a room with her friend, the flight attendant. So that's not an option. So too
Hmm.
bad.
Uncle Smiley has upgraded to a 10-pound CO2. We're right
Nice.
on.
That's the way to go. I have a 10-pound tank. If I had room for a 20-pound one, I would do that because it's more economical for one, and two, it's just less work.
Yeah, well,
Just
less
less
trips
work.
to get CO2 filled. In fact, I gotta fill the 5 pound in this one. I see the
Yeah,
once the needle starts to move, that's telling you that like your days away from,
your days are
because
numbered.
it's, I wish it was linear and you knew that it was gonna, like, it was
Not
getting
linear.
there, but it's not.
It's not linear. I have backup tanks actually. I went ahead and bought them because my CO2 filling place is not open on weekends. It's only open Monday through Friday. So, and I don't change my tank without help. So I needed to be able to get the gas on my own and then Jake would change it.
Well, you
So
know what would
Jenna
happen if I
asked,
had a backup tank is I would combine that with my backup regulator and backup diffuser.
that's always a problem. But I did it specifically because my place is only open Monday through Friday.
Mhm.
So, yeah. So Jenna asked, what if we drive down to Texas first to pick up Zen?
It's an
What
idea.
if we, I mean, that doesn't seem very efficient. There's got to be probably someone closer. But
We're
I don't know.
closer.
Driving from Texas, Michael, new local Austin, do you drive or are you flying? But that's Austin is still pretty far from Houston.
Yeah.
It's pretty far. But closer than Indiana. God,
Well, I
driving to
think
Houston,
she will
that's a
just
drive for
make
us.
it there on her own accord. We won't have to. We won't have to kidnap her.
No. I mean, all you need to do is get an Uber to the airport. Or your husband
Mhm.
could take you to the airport. I mean, that's what they're for.
What's what husbands are for? Good
Yeah.
for,
I mean,
I
it's
suppose.
what they're for.
Hmm. So no new plants for you until the clash.
No, I don't think so. I mean, that's only three. I mean, unless I don't know. You never know if my dream plant becomes available. I'm not sure what my dream plant is. I mean, I don't know.
How is your schismatoglottis doing?
Kind of shitty. I mean, I think it is growing, but my official review of it is you need CO2 because it's
Mm,
doing kind of shitty. You might need even low pH water to do really great. It's not
well,
dead. It's not dead, but it's not doing great. So I cannot recommend it
well,
as a low
damn.
tech plant. I don't know if I can recommend it, period, at this point.
Well, I ordered plants from the co-op, and it was with the assumption that the weather was gonna be accurate, and it
Yeah.
wasn't. The rain moved a day, and so it
Mm.
arrived on another 100-degree day.
Oh,
That was the
no.
only. Everything is fine except that plant. The tissue culture looked good. I put it in the tank, and it melted overnight. The snails devoured all the leaves, and it hasn't come back. And I was wondering if it's like it just didn't make it through the heat, or is it just not a plant conducive to that water? I had it in CO2 as
I
well,
just,
and I divided
it
it among two
grows
tanks.
super slow if it grows at all. I mean, I think it's growing. I would say it grows about the speed of Anubias nana petite, which is pretty slow. And I really think that it needs CO2 and it may need low pH water. So
Damn.
I would not really I don't know that I would recommend that plant for low tech tanks. I don't think I would at all.
Dang, I thought it was listed. It was. I thought Tropica labeled that one as an easy one. That's a shame.
I just don't always agree with their labels. You know, they don't have
Yeah,
experience. We'll see. Let's give it a couple more months and see. It is not
maybe.
dead. It is
Mhm.
rooted. It's not going anywhere. It's getting decent light and fertilization. I mean, we'll see. So,
One plant that I got that's doing really well is I got a pot of Haidai pearl variegated for this
ooh,
plant.
ooh,
Ooh, indeed.
color me interested. I might want that one if it propagates. That's because I love Haidai Pearl. If you want a sword that behaves well, I recommend Haidai Pearl. And
Doesn't
I
get
think
too
if I
freaking huge.
if I remember, which I mean, who can say, I might bring that one to sell at the fishfam.link booth because I have one right here. The
I was
propagating one
thinking,
right there.
nice.
Yeah.
I was thinking of actually replace. So I have the Sukarno right, the tank behind me right there, and eventually it's gonna get too large and it's like constantly sending out
Yeah.
babies. I think I might maybe bring that mother plant Sukarno because if it doesn't sell at the Fish Fam Link booth, somebody at the auction is gonna
Someone will
overbid
want
for
it.
it.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna not gonna see the nice red leaves and they're gonna go crazy for it and it's gonna sell for a lot.
Someone will
Um,
want it. I mean, if you have a 200-gallon discus tank that has no CO2, I mean that there's your plant. So June says, admit it, Crinum is your favorite plant. You are correct, June. That's a pretty great plant, but I already have it. So I don't need another one. One is good. They get pretty big. I don't need a second one.
I still have zero.
You need a really big tank for it. I just don't think it's appropriate in a small tank. It's fine in a 90. It's not fine in a 20 or a 40. So,
Oh, did James Earl Jones pass away?
oh, that's sad
Let's see.
news. How old? He had to be quite old. So he lived a good life.
He did, and he was 93.
Hmm. That's a good long life.
Mhm.
But sad news.
Yeah.
Oh. So Zenny says, I just realized my Sasvasatang seems to have covered and killed off all my Marsilea in the low tech tank. And now I'm sad. Oh. Boy, and that is a plant that really takes off with CO2.
Yeah.
It will grow without it, but it is slow. Whereas, like, it is pretty, I mean, it grows as fast as a Java fern. Let's put it that way. So with CO2, it's a great foreground. I really, really like it as a foreground.
Yeah. It's a good carpeting plan. It'll fill up the tank before you know it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you want just a nice low maintenance carpet in a taller tank, it's really nice. So
You think it's revivable? She said there's one tiny piece that's floating and has no roots.
I mean, it no, I don't. I You could try
I
it in
don't know.
your CO2 tank. If you go to the Clash, though, I'll give you a big patch of it. I'll give you a wad of it.
Sounds like a deal.
No, you just gotta go to the Clash.
Yep.
You can't ship it. I don't know where the post office is. That's not gonna
It's hard to
happen.
find.
I know. So, but I mean, I gave a bunch of it to Foxanne, and it's slowly marching along. Her KH is pretty low. That helps.
Yeah.
So, but it's never gonna do as well as with CO2. I mean, that's just the way that goes. So, oh, Nancy B suggests that you yell at it, Zenny.
Verbal
Kelly
abuse.
says it's already dead. I mean, try it.
I have been hurling tons and tons of insults at the pink flamingo, and it's not working.
Stephen, I feel like after all these years, I know you pretty well, and I just can't imagine that your insults are very vitriolic. I can't
I
imagine
mean,
you mustering up the amount of anger to really have an effect.
I think that's the problem. Like, I'm saying the words, but I'm not feeling it in my soul like
Yeah,
strong enough. I gotta really like muster the hate.
yeah. I
Let
mean,
the hate flow through me.
Zenny apparently can do that. She has the hate flowing through her. You just don't. You just have nothing but sweetness in your heart, so it's not convincing.
I don't know about all that, but
Yeah.
I want to be encouraging to the plants at least. I try.
Just try. Come on, you can do it.
You stupid face. Bad, bad crypt.
Bad plants.
I
Wait,
know you're trying your best, but try harder. I
try
believe in
more
you.
than your best. Just
I think if when these pink flamingos are gone, I think I will declare it done. Like, all right, I've tried it in all the scenarios and stuff. So yeah.
I mean, like I would hope that, but I would have thought you would have learned after, because I'm not getting it again. I've done it
Oh,
twice.
you would have thought I was not as stubborn as I am.
Yeah, I mean I've done it twice, and that's
Yeah.
you know
Well, I wasn't gonna pay $30 a crypt for it again,
no,
but Grant and
no.
Shelby were in town for the Fotis thing. They brought their pink flamingo pots with them. So like, well,
Well, and you're supporting the new baby. I mean,
exactly.
every shrimp you buy helps out a new baby. So guys, buy from Grant and Shelby.
Oh,
Babies cost a lot of
Branton
money.
is here, and I would like to know if he's received his plants yet and if they are in good shape. Because that was last holdout.
I mean, at least a lot of the country had kind of mild temperatures. So, I mean, it only hit 80 degrees today. Super nice. And I wore a sweater over the weekend, just straight up a sweater, because it was in the low 60s for a high. So, it was cold. So Scotty
But
says, I don't think Steven has a mean bone in him. He's a big, sweet teddy bear. I would agree. I just don't think you have a lot of meanness in you. But you have to have middle-aged man rage. Like every middle-aged man has like some rage deep within him over.
it's not very deep. Like there's just random things will upset me greatly. For example, the lawn guy doing his job today. I'm a
Yeah,
little sleep deprived, and so the noise was just kind of infuriating
that's
today. Didn't
middle-aged
like it.
man rage. I mean, Jake also, he's a sweet and mellow guy, but middle-aged man rage, it's a thing. I
I
don't.
just wouldn't take it out on the guy doing his job. I'd just,
No,
sit
no, would
here and
never do
stew in it.
that. Nancy B says she has middle-aged woman rage. I don't feel like I'm a very enraged person. I mean, maybe some of you in the chat would disagree with that. I don't know. Guess we all have our moments, but Scotty says he has short person rage. I mean, I've never had short person rage, so I wouldn't know. I was Scotty's height when I was 10. 10. Yeah. So Dee Dee says that menopausal rage is an entirely different thing, much more powerful.
Much more powerful.
Oh god, it's fueled by hot flashes. Woo!
Well, yeah, with
Something to
men,
look forward to.
it's the early teens, the pubescent hormonal rage, and then I
Oh,
guess there's like, I don't know. I kind of had some 20s anger, I guess. I don't know.
yeah, yeah,
And then now it's just like a more subdued, middle-aged,
yeah.
like mad at the lawn guy and
Taking your fist
ang-
in the world.
yeah, I'm just angry that, oh, my brain decides we're not sleeping tonight. No particular reason, but we're just not gonna.
I don't know how you're not more angry than you are, because if I don't get a good night of sleep one night, I'm kind of not happy.
Uh,
I don't
yeah,
know how
I
you
mean,
live.
the brain fog sucks. It's less anger really, and it's more like just, I don't know. I get in my head more because I
Hmm.
can't actually get anything done outside of my head. So like, let's just go back in my head.
I mean, I really commend you for not taking that out on your family, because you don't. Because I think I might if I slept as little as you do. Thankfully, I sleep pretty good. So, I mean, I have my moments, but in
I've been
general,
trying to not
pretty good.
take, like I used to take a lot of doxylamine succinate, I think is how you pronounce that. It's like
Uh,
the Unisom. It's just another
oh yeah, it's a
the
sleep aid.
Benadryl, but yeah,
Oh
but
god, Benadryl, like, it knocks you out, but it's not restful. Like,
yeah, and I don't like the fact that it's what's it, anti-cholinergic or something. Like it kind of messes with your brain, makes you
oh
stupid
yeah.
after a while. So
I mean, because
yeah, I've
I've
been trying to
taken
get off of that.
Benadryl for the last time I had Benadryl. So the first time I went to the Bahamas, it was on a more it was a less developed island. It's considered one of the family islands, Andros
Mm.
Islands, and I went with a group of students. The sand fleas were so bad that I was just covered in little red dots, and
Yeah,
the
it
itching was
just
so intense that I took Benadryl just to knock me out. I don't think it really helped the itching, but I was asleep. Oh man, I hate Benadryl. But oh,
yeah.
I on the flight home, I cleaned through a pair of yoga pants. I was
Oof.
so itchy. Just scratched a hole in my leg. And I looked around the plane at some of my students, and they were all like, and the funny thing is like, that was, so Jake and I had been talking, we met online, and the first time I met him was right after I got back from the Bahamas, and I'm like, you can't look at my feet. Like, they're awful, because I was so bit up. And he told me he did not look. I'm not gonna look at them because they looked so bad. I looked like I had a pox. I was bit up
Oof.
so bad. The itching, it's so much worse than mosquito bites. But then
Yeah,
I went to a different island in the Bahamas, and I was concerned. It was fine. It was
yeah. It's
fine.
just one more point against outside.
I mean, it was beautiful there, and I really, really loved it. But it was not worth it. I have never felt itching that intense. It was just, I did take a picture of my feet in a pair of sandals just to remember how bad that looked. So I guess if you really want to see it, I'll show you. But I don't think
Picture
you
of
want to see
feet.
it.
Send it to Annette.
We'll send it to it. I mean, and your
So
horribly rash covered feet. It was
Dee Dee makes a
oh.
valid point there.
What does Dee Dee say? For once, I'm not trying to be naughty, but a big O can help one go to sleep. I mean, I was on a trip with students,
Mm,
but in a solo bunk. No.
that's a big no.
And there were 3 other college-aged girls
Mm.
in the room with me. So, Benadryl it is.
Yeah. Zen said, I'm redheaded, so anger is just part of my gene mutation. Can't really be blamed for the things I say or do. It's just
It
science.
is. And redheads require more medication to knock them out. So like, they need more Novocaine at the dentist. It's the
Really?
mutation they have. Yeah. Have you
Damn.
found that to be true, Zenny? Do they have to give you a lot more Novocaine? Like, do painkillers still work on you? I mean, they work great on me. All drugs work on me, so I have no tolerance for anything. But I am not a redhead. Scotty says Annette likes my feet. I sent Foxanne some toe pics after her last stream. She liked them.
I'm glad I'm not part of these chains of feet
Well,
pic
you'll have to
exchange.
join. I did post those toe pics to the Discord. So if you want to see those toe pics, join the Discord.
Well, there you go. There's a
Because
link to the
they're on
Discord
there.
in the description of this stream. So
I know.
that's a
The
good selling
toe
point.
pics. They're pretty cute.
So I'm with Nancy there.
Oh, so Noel says, oh, it's chat. Absolutely true about the redheads and anesthesia. I married one who came from a family of all redheads, plus now have 2 redheaded kiddos. Dentist visits are rough. Yeah.
Oof.
I have never had a cavity, so I have not had a lot of Novocaine in my life. I did one of my wisdom teeth out, and that's about it. But a regular amount worked fine on me. So
Nice.
I'm not a redhead. So Zenny says I needed extra propofol for my C-section. I'm not surprised. And the doctor wanted to remind me this as they gave Michael Jackson as I was going out, finally not related.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm
But
not surprised.
not a thing. Yeah, not a thing you want to say. Like, good night. This is how Michael Jackson died.
Oh God. Can you imagine though, like not getting enough of it? I'd be like, hey, I can still feel that. Like, come on, because that's a damn big incision. That is the biggest surgical incision that they do is for a C-section. Because all other surgeries right now through a teeny tiny little incision because they can do everything laparoscopically. But for a
Andrew
baby,
Day, have a
yeah.
red beard, had surgery. Guess I woke up. They had to hit me with more anesthesia.
Oh wow.
I've only been
Yeah.
knocked out for surgery once when I was 9 years old.
Mm.
And the worst thing that happened to me is just I guess I have a really bad reaction to it. So it was like 2 days of I can't eat solid foods without
Wow.
throwing up.
I've never had general amnesia, so
Amnesia.
or
Anes-
anesthesia.
anesthesia.
I've also never had amnesia.
It's the camera. It's the stream brain.
That's true. Also, I'm out of practice because I haven't streamed in like a month. So
That's
yeah.
true.
So Whip says he was born a redhead and turned blonde, and now you're dishwater blonde. Interesting. Were you ever a strawberry blonde, Whip? Let me tell you the exciting progression of my hair. It started brown and it continued brown, and now it's gray.
I was very, very blonde. And
Were
it's just
you?
dark. Yeah.
Jake's hair was white. And it was like a dandelion puff, like it was enormous because Jake's hair is very curly.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not blonde, it was white. And now it's blonde. I guess if you're in the chat, you have not met Jake. He is blonde. So he's not
quite
dishwater blonde. He is definitely blonde. So Whip was strawberry blonde. Okay.
Not
So
dishwasher.
there you go. Not dishwasher blonde. Dishwasher blonde. I don't know what that is. Branton Lightcap also used to be blonde. A very common thing to start as blonde and your hair goes darker, but not me. I have always been a brunette. So yeah, never was a blonde.
Well, damn. Does anyone have any plant questions, or are we all taking a break from plants for right now?
I mean, I haven't been here in a couple weeks. You should have been storing these questions up, guys.
All the burning questions about plants. What's your favorite macronutrient?
My favorite macronutrient. I mean, potassium. I don't know.
It's a good one. I like bananas.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, it's like I just am a big fan of fertilizing in general. I think it makes a big difference. Mike is here. Hello, Mike. Done with work? That's good. So, Mike asks, which planted tank are your hypothetical new bows going into? They're going into the 90. I keep only smaller rainbows in the 40. So I have my Chilatharina Eleni Wapoga in there, and I also have my Kamakas in my 40. All my big boys, and these will get fair. I really don't know how big they'll top out, but I think they'll probably be like standard Melanopania size. So they're going in my 90, and they're gonna look awesome.
Let's see what Angfa says about them.
Yeah, let's see.
They will reach a maximum size of 10 centimeters, so that's 4 inches, but
Yeah.
usually less than 8 centimeters. So yeah, 3 to 4 inches is what
Yeah. They'll be happier in the 90. And honestly, if I could upgrade this tank to a bigger tank, all my rainbows would be happier. Because rainbows, they always look better in a bigger tank. I mean, like I have Kalitawas in my 40 and they look okay, but Steven's Kalitawas look way better because they're in a 90. That's just the way that goes.
And I got that fancy schmancy light on top of them too. So they've got like a photoshopped sort of quality to them.
Yeah, I mean, but even before you got that light, your Kalitawas look way better than mine. I mean, mine don't look bad. They look good. They're healthy. But you know.
I still have the Kamakas in a 40-gallon, and I have a trio of Bosemani in a 40-gallon.
Yeah.
They have stayed pretty small for a while.
Yeah, and Bosemani grow pretty slow, I think. But they're always going to be happier in a bigger tank. If you have a 200-gallon tank, your rainbows will look so good. Because I've seen this on the forums time and time again. You know, it's just like if you can grow your rainbows out outdoors, they look incredible. You know, because I have friends down in Florida who will breed things in outdoor ponds. Like I wish Grant and Shelby were like, I want to breed a ton of rainbows. That would be great.
I mean, we can convince them it's financially viable for them to dedicate that much tank space.
It's not.
I didn't say it is or isn't. I said we can convince them to just.
We can lie to them. Unfortunately, they're smart people and they'll see through it. But I know. Yeah, it's. Geek Boy says Kelly's fibbing. Size does not matter.
What size would you put the if you got pygmy rainbows? Would you put them in anything smaller than a 40?
I think they'd be okay in a 40. I would not put them in something. I wouldn't put any Melanopania type rainbows. So that would be Chilatharina, Melanopania, or Glossolepis. I wouldn't put it in less than a 40. I just wouldn't. I don't think.
They seem to love any amount of swimming room you can give them.
Yeah.
They take full advantage of it.
Pseudomagills, which are not rainbows, can go in smaller tanks, but I wouldn't go less than a 20 long for a pseudomagill either. They just need swimming room. Mm-hmm. Rainbows are just, none of them, even pseudomagills, which are small, you can call them nanofish, but they don't really behave like nanofish. So
they like the room too, for sure. When they get in that spawning mode and they start sparring with each other, they go all over the tank.
Yeah. So Nancy says local club member is selling his 120. I just don't know if my floors can take it. You'd be surprised. I bet your floors can take it. I mean, if you think about it, would you feel weird about putting a dresser in that spot? A heavy dresser that's all loaded up with stuff and clothes and lamps and all that. I mean, that can weigh a lot too. I mean, a floor can take a couch. It can take a 120. That's true because, like, if you have a couch and you have like 3 adults on it, that's a lot of weight.
It just seems like 120 is like the weight of a car, though. I don't know.
Yeah, I just if your house is reasonably well built at all, because I had a conversation with my dad about this and he's a retired contractor. He's like, oh yeah, your floors are fine, you can put whatever you want on. Like, it's
I remember I had a queen size waterbed on the 2nd floor of the house I grew up in. My dad had to like research to make sure he could do that. because he built that house himself.
Yeah.
And Passing Wind was asking what size tank this is behind me. It's Jenna actually answered. It's a 90.
Yeah. So someone asked about thread fins, or Therina, Werner. I think they need a 29. I've had thread fins. They are beautiful. They're so hard to find. But like they can, when they flare, they can be like that big around. So they kind of need a little bit more room. I think a 29 is fine for thread fins or bigger. I wouldn't mind having those again. I really, really like them. They're
Never had them.
beautiful. I had some really great ones I got at a fish show when I lived in Iowa. I don't remember where the fish show was. I think they were from the Chicago Cichlid, one of the Chicago Cichlid shows. And yeah, they're really beautiful, but they are hard to find. Like Dan doesn't have them very often. Geek Boy says they used to be all over. I agree. They did used to be all over. And now they're really hard to find. They're a pain in the ass to spawn. Like if you're going to start spawning rainbows, they're easy to spawn, but the babies are so tiny. Like they're really a pain in the ass. So regular
Microscopic
Pseudomagills,
food.
yeah, and they're not closely related at all to Pseudomagills. They're kind of a little branch by themselves. They're closer related to Melanitania than Pseudomagills.
How did they get tagged as rainbows at any point?
Well, I mean, if you considered a big clade, like with Bedatia, which are the Madagascar rainbows, they do form a monophyletic group. So you could call them rainbows, but some people would prefer that you only call rainbows Chilatherina, Glossolepis, and Melanitania, and whatever. Like, a lot of people like to get really angry. It's white man rage, or just middle-aged man rage. It's what it is.
It's just
Getting angry about names. It's a thing that
how to trigger Gary Lang.
and some others also,
Thanks,
So,
Vibes, for the super chat. How much opened 50-pound saltwater should cost?
like
I don't understand the question.
Pre-mixed? I don't know. I don't have a
But-
saltwater tank. I know you can buy pre-mixed saltwater. I know you can also buy salt.
Just
Maybe Mike can
gallons of
answer.
salt water? 50
What?
pounds? Is 50 pounds of salt water? That's just like 5 gallons or so?
What's 50 divided by 8?
6? I don't know. That's math. I don't like math.
Well, yeah, it's 6-ish.
Mm.
Well, it's just over 6 gallons. So I don't know. So it's more than a 5-gallon bucket. I don't know how much that should cost. I've never kept salt water, but maybe Mike would know. Oh, saltwater sand. Also don't know, but maybe Mike would know. I don't. I've never had anything.
What is saltwater sand? Is it like live sand or is it just regular sand? Because
I don't know.
a 50-pound bag of black diamond blasting sand is what, $12?
Yeah. I mean, you can buy live sand just like live rock. That's kind of a premium product. I don't know how much live sand costs. Yes,
And thank you for the other super chat Vibes.
Maybe live sand. And I know that like for saltwater, a lot of them, they'll have aragonite sand, and that's like a little bit more money. Kind of like, how fluval stratum costs more money than black diamond blasting sand. So, I mean, aragonite sand costs a little more, and that will regulate the KH. So that's a nice product to have as opposed to silica sand. But
yeah, so I wondered about that. Like, if you, with the aragonite sand, like, do you really need that kind of substrate to regulate your KH in salt water? I thought like adding all of the salt and additives and shit would kind of.
No, I think it really does help. I mean, like, especially if you're growing like stony corals, they chew up a lot of calc. And I think that you have to add a lot of calc.
And I guess if you have a reef tank, are you doing water changes in the same way you would if you had like a freshwater high-tech planted tank, or is it?
I think you do a small water change every month. Seems to be what people do.
So far less
They'll
than
do like a
that makes
5
sense.
to 10% water change every month, but I don't do that. So Vibe says Carib Sea Live Fiji Sand. Okay, that's a more premium product. I don't know how much it costs because I don't work in a pet store and I have never kept a saltwater tank.
Yeah.
Gina's a good person to ask if Mike doesn't know. But Mike says some saltwater substrate products are actual sands. Some are actually ocean sand. Other saltwater sands have a lot of crushed coral in them, which can be problematic due to phosphates. Yeah, that's why the aragonite sand is popular because it doesn't add phosphates, I think. Please don't quote me on that. I have not kept them and not looked too in deeply at them. But the Carib Sea live sand, the Fiji live sand, I mean, I would just look around online and see what it's kind of running for a price. Like, does,
He's
what's that?
asking if $25 for 6 pounds, for 56 pounds is reasonable.
I think
I
that's
yeah.
probably a really good deal. I would imagine that's a really great deal.
I mean, yeah, for that I wouldn't be shopping around that heavily for sand at that price.
I mean, one thing that, and again, you're gonna have to take this with a grain of salt because I've never kept it, but I don't know if quality matters. I know that live rock, it can
Mm.
be skunky and stinky and gross if it's been mishandled. And if this live sand, if they didn't keep it right, if they just like put it in the trunk of their car for a month, everything's not live anymore, it's just dead and rotting. So there could be a quality
Mhm.
issue, but I don't know because I don't really know that much about saltwater tanks. I don't have them. Maybe
Me
someday.
either. But yeah, the pressure's on. I do need to do a saltwater tank with I'll do the 20 tall, I think.
Yeah. So Geek Boy says go just dig some sand from the side of the road. Here you go.
Go to the beach.
There you go. Yeah. Here you go. All right,
So,
Andrew Day.
Andrew
That's
Day.
your name. Hello. Says planted dwarf Sagittarius, beginning of August, fed root tabs maybe 3 times within that time frame. That's a lot. It hasn't done anything. No melting, but not growing. Does it have enough light? I mean, doesn't need a ton of light, but it needs some. What light do you have on your tank? I would not fertilize it more. That's a crazy
Nah.
amount of root tabs. Root tabs are something you would add maybe once a month, and you don't need to fertilize plants that are not actively really growing much, because they're not using that fertilizer. So if you
So
just fertilize it to start, you don't need to keep putting more in if it's not doing anything. I would just wonder if you're giving it enough light.
yeah, so Sagittaria does have an immersed form, but if it's not melting back, then I guess it was
Yeah.
already immersed. I feel like when I plant Vals or Sag, there is a period of time, and I don't even know how long it is because I just ignore it because I know that anywhere I plant Val or Sag, eventually I'm gonna hate it because it's gonna
Yeah,
grow
it's
like
gonna take
crazy.
over the whole tank.
But there is a period where it doesn't seem to want to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, they don't need a ton of light. They need more
No.
than like the stock light that comes with the tank. Let's put it that way. But if you have any kind of plant light,
Sag
it's
will try at least because it'll
yeah,
some of it grows super tall. It'll reach.
yeah. It doesn't need much. So I just be patient, but don't fertilize it anymore. It'll with those root tabs. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And depending on the root tab, some of them take a really long time to break down.
Yeah.
I feel like those CCAM root tabs last months and months.
Okay, so Andrew has the co-op light 20%, 10 gallons. It does have a heavy carpet of salvinia on top. Oh, there's your problem.
That
Get
co-op
rid
light
no, the
is nice.
salvinia it's blocking all your light. I mean,
Yeah, and
yeah, if you have floaters, like you just got to get rid of 90% of them. Let's put it that way. Because
right.
the light is not getting through there.
because the co-op light is nice and bright, but at 20% is really dim. Like I actually on the 15-gallon, I have it at 80% right
Oh,
now.
there you go. Yeah,
So
so turn up your light, but the big thing is get rid of your floaters. I
ditch
mean,
the silly floaters.
yeah, and here's the thing, like you just kind of need to make a decision in your life. Are you going to have plants growing in your tank or are you going to have plants growing on your tank? The two are not terribly compatible because they block the light. You can have a few of them, but
I make it work in the mosh pit.
you're going to be removing them all the time. I don't
Yeah.
mess
Well,
with
that's
like the silly floaters. I don't even mess with them.
I got duckweed, and that's just my life now.
Yeah, that's just your life. There you go. But it does block your light, and your light's not doing great. Just turn your light up. Get rid of the floaters, and soon.
Water lettuce is the worst for light blocking. That shit is
Oh,
opaque.
yeah. It's a thick mat. But yeah, it's soon enough you will hate that dwarf sag. You will hate it. So Tom was saying Alishon was saying something of, and I missed it.
About Bedotia.
Gotcha. So that's the Madagascar rainbow. Those are beautiful,
Right.
and we just don't see them enough. So PVL did a talk on them. I don't know what PVL is. Since he visited Madagascar every year when he was a curator of fish at the New York Aquarium, very few have made it here. I would love to know more about them. I would love to keep them someday. We only have like one species of them that I've seen often. What's his name? He's been on Light Your Plants. The guy who has all the plants. His last name
Luke.
is Wong. Luke Wong. He's got them, and they're awesome. And I keep asking him to post pictures of them to my rainbow group, and he doesn't. Just to make
Does
me
he post?
sad.
He's on Instagram. Does he post them on there?
I've never seen him post them. I wish he would, Luke. Come on.
Luke, get addicted to social media.
But just post pictures of your fish. You don't need to take it any further than that. I don't need to know about every meal you eat or your romantic entanglements. Just fish pictures. So yeah, they're so beautiful and they're such cool fish. And I would love to, and that is such a threatened habitat. I mean, Madagascar is just, any fish you can breed from Madagascar is a good thing you are doing because that habitat is very, very threatened.
So Nathan said, I heard the amount / brightness of the light will determine if dwarf sag will grow tall or stay short. I don't think it's true as I have both tall and short in the same tank.
You know,
there are a bunch of different species of sag that will grow submersed, and it's possible that there's a mix.
Yeah, and you don't know what you're going to get. Mm-hmm. In general, giving a plant more light will help it to stay more compact, just as a general rule. But if a plant wants to get tall, like if it's, there are lots of species of Sagittaria. Some of them get really, really tall and have beautiful flowers and look nothing like the Sagittaria that you grow in your tank. So, Scotty found a girl on Bumble yesterday that was 3'3". Love at first sight. Well, a lid for every pot. There you go. Do you want to be 2 feet taller than? I mean, you're not 2 feet taller than Jenna. You're over a foot taller than Jenna, right?
Yeah, like a foot and an inch or two.
Yeah. Can you imagine more than that? That's a lot.
Yeah.
I dated a guy once who was like 6 inches taller than me, and that was too damn much. It was a pain in the ass. I kind of like a guy to be about my height. It's just less work.
Maybe I just like to tower over people.
Maybe you do. I mean, you do it. You're really tall, so there you go.
Gives me a sense of authority. That's also why, I don't do the public anger thing, because if I get even slightly perturbed, it comes across as me being like a danger to the public. So
I mean, I guess you could seem menacing. You're a large mammal. You're very tall. So no clash wedding, Scotty. Nancy asks. There you go.
that
I
would be
mean,
nice.
a lid for every pot. That's that.
If you blast it with enough light, you get made up mini plants.
I mean, there you go. I mean, but some plants, if you blast them with too much light, they're just not happy. They can get fried. I mean, if you blast your hostas with too much light, they just fry. They don't stay shorter. They just crisp up. So yeah. So Alishon says used to be Badacha Gay. I don't know what its new name is, but that's a beautiful fish. And I don't see it enough. It's so beautiful, though. I mean, Dan does not. I don't recall the last time he stalked it. I don't recall.
Me either.
That habitat is very, very threatened, though. So.
Oh, do you have any experience with homolomina?
Yes.
And
I have grown it.
Cygnus?
I don't remember which homolaminas I had.
Because that's the other one I got, but like the leaves are melting. Because it's for sure what I got is completely immersed.
Yeah, they did melt back a bit. They grew like crypts. The ones I had were pretty easy to grow. I don't remember which ones I had, but
This is the one I got.
Yeah.
And there were two separate plants in there, so I have them in different tanks.
Yeah, I don't know if all homolaminas are equally easy. And I also don't know if all of them will grow submersed.
This one is supposed to, but
Yeah, I didn't have that one. The ones I had were green and they were nice. They were easy, grew like a crypt. I imagine they would do well even in a low tech tank. If it doesn't do well, if it seems really unhappy, you could grow it as a terrarium plant.
Yeah, it's an idea.
Because they're some of the popular in terrariums. I mean, people keep them. But the homolaminas I had did really well. So Mike says it's a lot like a Loganandra. Yeah. I would say that's about true. They're pretty easy to grow like a crypt.
I've seen it compared to Bucephalandra as well.
Foxanne says, "Don't poke Steven. Hug him."
Who's poking me? Oh,
don't poke him.
Mike. Right now, I'm imagining me poking the bear at the Clash and watching Steven rampage around, flipping tables.
I mean, Steven does not want to be poked. Don't poke him.
Not a fan of poking.
I mean, Mike, you'd have to go to the Clash to do that. So, guess that's not going to happen. But you know what, Mike? You need to fucking go home. I mean, you're not at your house enough. You're like the one person I'm like, okay, it's okay that you're not going to the Clash. You need to go home.
Mike, I recommend a remote job. So get on that.
You're home all the time.
I am home all the time, and it's fantastic.
No, it's great. I mean, I drive like 5 miles a week. It's like... So Andrew says, follow-up question. The Sagittarius shares a tank with Crypticorn Wentii and you mentioned too much. Will the crypt be okay? Go ahead and turn up your lights. The crypts will be just fine.
Crypts are very resilient to highlight.
And they like more light. They will just grow more lush and they'll do better. The only plants that I can think of that maybe don't like to be blasted with light, and this is minor, I would say Anubias. And the only thing I do different, and I blast my tanks with as much light as I can, I do shade them a little bit. And I think also Boost probably needs to be shaded a bit more. I don't know. I'm not great at growing Boosts, so. But your crypts, they'll be fine. Just Get more light on there. Get rid of floating plants. Everything's gonna be fine. So
My boost bowl is doing fantastic.
well, that's good.
Let's
Because
see.
you just got a bunch of new boosters and then like promptly forgot which was which.
That was well. I got the new boosters years ago and just tucked them in a corner, let them all convert and grow, and so that's what I've got there.
I
I
do not have patience in my life to keep boosters straight. All right. What's the best way to propagate red Myriophyllum heterophyllum? All right. I haven't grown that one.
So that's water milfoil.
So there are lots of myriophyllums. Some are easy and some are noxious weeds,
Yeah, I
literally.
think this is the
And
noxious
some are
weed. Like,
hard.
let me look it up.
So Myriophyllum aquaticum is the one that's like polluting all the lakes. It's not that one. Then there's like Myriophyllum matagrossens. That one needs like low KH and CO2. I don't know heterophyllum.
Variable leaf water milfoil, Myriophyllum heterophyllum, is a serious invader in New England, spreading rapidly by fragmentation as well as by seed under optimum. Yeah, that's what I thought. So
yeah,
I
the
think
best way to propagate it is to put it in the freezer and shut the door. Like, I mean, those plants are really just choking out our lakes so bad. They are so terrible because what happens is, nutrients leach into the lakes because of runoff, from farms and, during rainstorms. And then there's a nutrient increase in the lakes. And then the plants will just grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And then they will choke out the light and then they'll die. And the oxygen content in the lake will decrease. They'll become eutrophic instead of oligotrophic, and it will kill all the fish. So
grown responsibly in a pond or tub. It looks like you
don't
just
grow it in a
snip
pond.
it.
Don't grow it in a pond because like what will happen?
Don't let it get out into the wild. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's when like frost won't kill it because it's just killing all the lakes.
But looks like it's a very easy stem plant.
I scoff at you. Bring them
You
on.
just snip it, and then you'll have two, and then they'll both grow. That's pretty much how those would propagate.
Think you need to try to grow it. But I would kill it. I would kill that plant. I would put it in the freezer.
I had some Elodia in the mosh pit, and I didn't realize it kept growing. I pulled it out. It was like a 6-foot long Elodia. So you probably do the same thing with the milfoil. Just let it grow. But if you wanted to have it branch out, like if you just needed a nutrient sponge in some indoor tanks, I suppose.
Yeah, but don't put it in a pond. Don't put it outside because it's a bad plant. It's a bad plant. So Barbara says that the Sacramento River Delta has a problem getting choked out by water hyacinths since we don't have hard winters. Yeah, that's a problem where Steven lives too, water hyacinths in Florida. Yeah. So, and that's why they're illegal in those states. But for me, I can have water hyacinths. It's cold here. So, Peplin says Big Swamp Pea. That's a pretty good nickname. Swamp.
Y'all heard that song? They they debuted it on Hot Mess Express, I think, this past Thursday.
I was only in Hot Mess Express for a little bit. The problem is I get home from yoga on Thursdays, and then I always talk to Jake, so I miss most of that stream because Jake and I talk on the phone for like an hour every day.
Damn, so you missed a real banger.
I know, but
Mike said it's my turn for new rainbows.
I would agree, but I don't know where you're gonna put them because your rainbows are enormous.
I'm out of rainbow room for sure.
And I don't know where in your house you could put a big tank. Your house is pretty small, so
it's pretty small. It's definitely at capacity.
I just don't know where. You just don't. I mean, because I have plenty of places in my house I could put more big tanks. It would not be a problem, but in your house, Our house is pretty little, so it's difficult. So Barbara says, I guess they've given up here in California. It's not illegal to sell them. I didn't know that, Barbara. That's sad. That's sad. They should be illegal.
Hey, Papa Shrimp is here. Haven't seen you in a while, Jerry. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, good to see you. So Kathleen says fertilizer runoff would not be a problem if farmers would use more lime. So lime change does improve. No, that's not gonna, no. So lime will raise the pH of your soil, but it's not going to change the runoff situation. I mean, improving erosion, that would help. So things like contoured tilling or no-till, low-till, that would help. Planting embankments with things, wetlands, those would really help with runoff, but lime would not help. So, so Mike
I don't know how that
says,
works.
what?
I said I don't know how that works, so I got no input on that.
So Mike says you could start bridging the gap between fresh water and salt water by keeping some Pseudomygil cyanodorsalis with some gudgeons. That's a fish I've always wanted to keep, Pseudomygil cyanodorsalis. They're beautiful, complete with mangroves and maybe seagrass or even macros. Yeah, I would really like to do that.
That's tempting.
They are beautiful little fish, and they breed like guppies, apparently. They just are so easy. They breed themselves, and they're the prettiest Pseudomygil by far. They're just zippy, and they have bright blue bodies, and they flit all over, and they flash. They're tiny. They're really, really pretty little fish, and they're easy to keep and easy to breed. And but they do need salt. They need at least brackish, if not full salt. So
it would be tempting to get a good start.
Whips or Vibes super chat. Thank you.
Thanks,
Sushi
Vibes.
or cottage cheese. Either one.
What the hell kind of question is that?
I mean, Steven, you're team sushi, right?
I am. It's less so team sushi and more so team anti cottage cheese.
I mean, I like cottage cheese, but not like Vibes does. I mean, to me, it's like a thing to eat, whatever. I don't really care. I like sushi. I don't get to eat it very often. The last time I had sushi was with you, Steven, because Jake does not like sushi. So, like,
oh man, that was like over a year. We didn't go this past time, did we?
Yeah, we did. So, because I've been there twice, that Japanese restaurant. Yeah, we got to find some better restaurants by the Clash. The one that's like right across the street is pretty good.
Y'all planning to go back to that world's or country's largest buffet?
Jake does love to get buffed. I mean, he loves a buffet.
It's pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of choices.
It's pretty good. I'm less into buffets than Jake, but there's a restaurant across the street. We went there with Dan, and it was pretty good. Also, it was like really chill and quiet, so it was kind of nice to like hang out and have a nice dinner. So what did I have there? I had crab stuffed fish. It was pretty good. So, but I mean, I don't know what other restaurants there are. Jake is really sad because all the times we went to the buffet, we didn't get there in time for the breakfast, and he just wants to get ruined with breakfast food. That's what he wants. So, I don't know. Yeah. But it'd be good to go out for sushi or something, or like Asian food, or
I got to be a little bit careful with sushi now because like I have that shrimp sensitivity, but I had sushi. I feel like the last time I had sushi, I got a little bit sick, even though there was no shrimp in there. I don't know if there was something else going on.
Or
I don't know.
Yeah, you got to be really careful because allergies can get really, really bad. It can get
So
worse.
unfortunate.
It can also go away though. So Jake
So
developed.
just
He had
keep
a shrimp
trying.
allergy in his 30s, and it went away in his 40s. And you're not going to be in your 30s much longer. So maybe shrimp days are coming back.
Thanks for the reminders. And how many more days until I'm not in my 30s anymore?
I mean, Zen and I are way beyond that. So it's not so bad.
Well, her daughter and I share a birthday, and her daughter does a countdown until her next birthday. So
Oh,
if I
right.
ever need like a check on how many days I got left,
You ever
285. There we go.
I don't need that. I'm good. So Barbara suggests we go out for real ramen, which I would be totally in favor of, but I don't think there's any of it by the Clash.
Can't
So
imagine.
I mean, I love real ramen. I've made real ramen. It's delicious, but I like a lot of different foods, you know.
I like a variety. It's just cottage cheese is not on the
You
list.
don't like cream cheese or cottage cheese. Trying to think what else you don't like.
It's a short list, honestly.
Short list. I mean, I
Just a
think I'm
lot of
bigger than you, but I have a lot of food allergies. So Jake doesn't like creamy condiments. He can't handle a lot of lactose because he's lactose intolerant. I mean, it's not that he doesn't like it. It's just
he definitely likes it.
yeah. I mean, he likes pizza. It's just he pays for it. So, but Steven doesn't like milk. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, a lot of my foods I don't like are dairy based.
Huh. Yeah, I'm pretty pro dairy. So yeah. Yeah, so Jake doesn't like creamy condiments. He doesn't like beets. I don't like beets either. They're gross. He doesn't like kale, but is anybody enthusiastic about kale? Kale is like a food I'll eat, but I'm not excited about. I mean, Jake will also eat kale, but he's not like yay kale. So, and then other things I'm just allergic to. So, no.
Yeah.
Craig says his Corys are spawning. That's exciting.
Sweet. I should bring a sack of crawfish up with me. God, you know how many crawfish it would take to feed everyone going to the Clash? It would be a logistic nightmare.
Are they in season now? Like, is it
Not
real
not
time?
really. That's they're peak at like March, April,
Yeah,
May ish.
because I know we were there in February and it was not a good time. So next year, I think we're gonna come in March because I want to experience the crawfish boil. Like,
Yeah, and it'll be a little warmer and like more seasonal if you want to do like the swamp tour or anything
yeah,
else
and
like
I
that.
want to do that. And March in Indiana is kind of a shitty month. Like it's still cold and it's not that nice out. So I think that would be good. Yeah, we'll go on the swamp tour. That'd be pretty fun. So
Well, it is dinner time.
yeah, me too.
Speaking of all this freaking food talk,
Steven is gonna not eat cottage cheese.
definitely not.
Not gonna
It's
wash
not
it
in the
down with a
house.
glass of milk.
Ooh. Well,
Wow, it's good to see everyone again. I missed you all. Thank you all for
indeed.
being here. Thank you to our mods and our super chatters and our lurkers and our replay crew. And we'll see you all next week.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.